Fake media is trying to silence us, but we will not let them, because the people know the truth. The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
President Trump slamming the media last night in a speech at the Celebrate Freedom rally in Washington. His comments coming after he went on Twitter earlier in the day to criticize news outlets and defend his use of social media. Let's bring in our panel. Steve Sigmund, Senior Vice President of the Global Strategy Group and a Democratic strategist, and Brad Blakeman, former Deputy Assistant to President George W. Bush. Brad, does this remind you of anything in your time in the White House? No, so let's get straight to this, because this is happening right now. The president has tweeted out something very fresh just in the past half hour or so. He tweeted out this clip, a GIF, I guess you could call it on the internet. It's a clip that is about 10 years old of the president attending a wrestling event. Obviously with CNN on the head of one of the wrestlers. He tweeted this out and said, hashtag fraud news CNN, hashtag FNN, which, Brad, is hashtag
Fraud News Network.
Fraud News Network.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Look, it's funny, but the best advice I can give the president is body slam your opponents by passing legislation and getting points on the board. America First is a tremendous slogan, but it's also a mark on your presidency. We have health care looming. We have taxes that needs to be dealt with. We have immigration. There are a lot of big things on the plate, and it's nice to have fun with this, but at this critical time, we need to really concentrate on issues and things that matter to the American people.
Steve, clearly it was an image of the president body slamming CNN is what the takeaway from that. I've already tweeted it out this morning. I can see the response that it's getting on the internet. What is your response?
Look, it's a 10-year-old clip, but it's more like a clip done by a 10-year-old. And that's a real problem when this is the president of the United States, right? Brad and I have rarely agreed on things in the air, but I agree with him that you know, this is problematic for the president, and they ought to be concentrating on legislation. But I don't think it's funny. I mean, this is a weekend in which we celebrate. You know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and this guy is spending his time tweeting about blood and about and body slamming.
But what I'm going to tell you is,
it devalues and debases the presidency.
And you said to me, Steve, we're beyond shocked by this anymore. It doesn't surprise you. You said.
Sad.
But then there's got to be a strategy that he is employing here, Brad. And he did tweet out within the past 24 hours, my use of social media is not presidential. It's modern day presidential, he said. Make America great again.
What he does is he keeps his enemies off balance. They never know what's coming next. It's creating an organized chaos of tweets. He knows what the response is going to be. It's like fishing. You throw out the bait and wait for the fish to bite. The fish bite every time. And his base loves it. But now it's getting to the point where people are saying, you know, maybe it's gone a little bit too far and we have to reel it in a little bit. There are big issues that need to be dealt with. And now I hope the president will start concentrating on the issues of health care.
You say that, but Ken Paxton was on earlier, the Texas Attorney General, and he said, talking about immigration and the passage of these two bills in the House. This is major legislation and a huge victory, he called it, for President Trump and his White House. So things are getting done, one could argue, on the other side.
They're not really getting done. I mean, to the point where he talked about them getting done, right? Remember, this is a president who came in and said, health care is going to be easy, right? We're going to pass this and we're going to repeal Obamacare immediately.
This is not easy.
You mean he discovered what people have known for 60 years, that health care reform is not easy? Look, I think to Brad's point, you know, what's problematic is that he's spending his time doing this and tweeting. If that's the modern presidency, right, insulting people and tweeting, then that's a pretty bad place for the president.
But Steve, I don't think there's a lot of people who say this president isn't working.
He's not getting things, and he's not getting things done, and that's why he has a 35% approval rate.
The fact is, he's getting a lot done. We have a new Supreme Court justice. Deregulation is at an all-time high as far as reducing the burden on the business. He's creating jobs. Look at the coal industry opening new plants. This guy, climate change, he made good on another promise. He's making good on promise after promise, but we're not concentrating on the accomplishment.
It's a distraction is what you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
Got it. Steve,
and his signature piece of legislation that's supposed to be with health care, when he has the House and the Senate is going nowhere.
It's
All right.
coming.
Well, speaking of which, the president diving back into the Senate healthcare debate this week, but has it helped or hurt the fight to get a deal done? Our panel is back to weigh in as we look ahead on Sunday Morning Futures.